Hi, welcome to Ocean Yumi's channel. So it's really interesting. I put up a picture and I don't know, people are different, I guess. On certain apps, people are different. But anyways, we will move along. So today I'm gonna talk about the ratchet women. Why do I talk about it? Because when I've been watching some of the mummies, they show a lot of stereotypes. Um And not all black women stay like that, really, but this is one of those things where, like, people get all logged in one basket. So then I started looking up the word ratchet because I kept hear, when you hear it a lot, you want to find out what's the origin of it, where it come from, why is it used in such a way. Now, like, for years, maybe I have seen ratchet women. I have, like, I think I must have, right? But sometimes, when you get older, you tend to look at things a bit more differently because, like, on social media, there's so much things going on. Women twerking is one of them. So everybody thinks that, like every black woman is a twerking woman or whatever, which is not the case. So that's why I thought, let me just do a build on this because as a black woman myself, right, I know, yes, there is certain times, yes, okay, right, everybody, like, we all have different, we all are different, innit? We all are different. Even black women, we all are different. We're not all the same. We're not all live in the same circumstances, right? And in most cases, right, it gets misconstrued because people for ages has been stereotyping black women for ages, like talking about the way their size, the way they dress, but then initially, right, they themselves take on that same look, that same way of dressing. They feel, okay, this is how a black woman act. Now, some women try to break out of that stereotype because sometimes, right, you want to be a bit better, and it's not like you're snobbing and you're looking down on women who behave like that. You just know that sometimes due to their where they grow up, the environment, because some women wasn't brought up in a certain type of environment as well. So not only that, it's like little girls are coming up now and they are looking at certain women in a certain way, like the Instagram models. I can't think of I know Instagram models is one of them. Um, Women empowerment is sometimes taken out of context, I feel, because when you've been around certain, I won't say black nationalists, I'll say, but Nation of Islam for one of them. Um, when like, I mean, I'm not part of them no more, but for from when you're around certain places and they teach you, like, like, you can be this empowering woman even when dressed. It's not necessarily mean because, like, you wear less clothes than me that I'm better than you. It doesn't mean that. Sometimes it's a matter of case of, like, the the other communities see you and they initially think, oh yeah, a wretched black women. Which in fact sometimes, like, some women are very assertive. It doesn't mean to say that they are ratchet, right? Because, like, they talk and they put in throwing a few cuss words doesn't make them ratchet. Some women just express themselves a little different. So when people use this word, you say, oh, oh, ratchet. Yes, there is ratchet behaviour because I see it on YouTube on a daily basis. With certain mummies that, like, you see, like, particularly with the mummies that I mentioned, there is certain behaviours that is ratchets and certain behaviours that you just think, wow, um, like, not every woman live in that manner. Some women don't even go clubbing. Some women would rather be in a wine bar or somewhere, or in certain places, not necessarily be twerking and loud, but then these same loud women is the same loud women who will come to your aid if they saw you going through something. They'll be the one who be standing up for you. So it's a two-edged sword, and that's where it gets understood. Now, black women, like I said, has been misunderstood for a very long time. The Hottentot woman was misunderstood. With Sarah, I forgot her name, Sarah, that South African lady who they showed her as a black woman because her behind was big. They had an issue with it because of her size. Though they looked down on her size and everything, right? Because in their eyes, she was not seen as normal. Now nowadays, like you can flip it now. Now that big women, big size women is more acceptable now. But there is ways to even dress to make yourself look nice and whatever, because fashion varies. It's not just for slim women alone. It's not just for petite women. And some women, they will talk with a certain tone, unless then their voices were raised, and then they will tell you about yourselves. And she's not really seen as ratchet. She just basically just defending herself, because at the end of the day, like the way how society is going now, it's a little bit backward on certain stuff. Everything's backward. Even the men goes on like women. Like you're just like, wow, like some men behave like women. Their ways, the way they are, the way they deal with you as well. So even when they're looking at a woman saying, oh, she's ratchet, she's this, she's that, and all that. Now, when I'm looking it up now, they're saying it's something to do with black feminism. I'm thinking, how is that? Like, feminism wasn't really a black thing, really, anyway, because as most know, there's people like I forgot her name now. The first black millionaire, right? She made it through making her own products, doing hair, and everything else. She there is, especially in history, if you look through history and see how the black woman was thought of, like especially because like she was liked by the slave masters, by the slave master or her capturers, and there was a lot of people that didn't, a lot of women, white women per se, didn't like that. So sometimes, right, they would actually emulate the thing they hate. Sometimes that's normally how it goes now. Now, one time, Fundi did a build on, I think it's the Sapphire Woman, which is similar to. I put it along the Ratchet Woman, because when Fundi was explaining it of how she is, let me see if I can find the Sapphire, because even that came up when you're looking up Ratchet Women. That was one of the things that came up as well. So let me see if I can find it. A Sapphire Woman. Let me see if I can find the book. I think there's a book called The Sapphire Woman. Let's see. Probably can't find it. But anyway, Wendy did cover an amount of it. Let me see if I can find her on here actually. But she talks about the Sapphire Woman as well. Which I'm finding it, looking for it now. While I'm doing that, I'm gonna put this up on screen, because it's saying this, it's a woman, it's an empowerment thing. Girl, don't know. Maybe it is to some. Hold on. Maybe it is. Hold on, did I tap it? Oh, I didn't tap it. I didn't tap the thing. Okay, let me see it. So most of the time they're seen as women who dresses a certain way and all this, but hold on. I need to find Fundi Fee's one because he also marries with this. The Sophia Effect. The Black Jezebel. That's what Fundi Fee named it. Which is supposed to be a book, from what I gathered. Let's see if I can get volume.
Fighting injustice.
So,
art description.
Let me start with this one now. Anyways, let's look at it. So the ratchet is a slang term in America hip hop culture that it is originally since was a derogatory term used to refer to an uncouth woman and maybe Louisiana dialect from the word wenched in 2000 to the 2010. The word became popular and African American women became loosely connoted of denoting confidence, defiance, and similar to the vision of the archetype bad boy. Oh, okay. They're saying it's a street slang. So where it really came from, the usage of the term is recorded by as early as 1992 by Pimp C of UCGK in a song I Am So Bad from the album Too Hard to Swallow album. It was used again in 1998. Rapper E40's Lieutenant Royce as a botched track from his album The Element of Surprise. The word also appears in a publication in 1999 with the song Do the Ratchet. On the album The Ratchet Fight in the Ghetto by Andrew Mandingo from Shreveport, Louisiana. Mandingo learned the term from his grandmother. In 2004, Little Boosie, in conjunction with Mandingo, recorded a few versions of Do the Ratchet. The CD inner notes define ratchet to be ghetto, real gutter, nasty. It's whatever about it. Whatever about it. So they're saying it come from the music scene, which is not surprising. Not surprising at all. Not at all surprising. So I think it's linked to this as well, what Fundi also spoke about. Funny enough, because she spoke about this as well, I think, in another way.
Read royalty-free people, clip art pictures, images of angry African American women in a purple dress and heels, standing with her arms crossed and tapping her foot with a stern expression on her face. She could be mad at her child, her colleague, or her husband. There are stock pictures of angry Black women, such as those at www.gettyimages.com. Photo, angry Black women. There are books devoted to angry Black women. For example, The Angry Black Women's Guide to Life. Milner, Burt, Murray, and Miller, 2004. A website such as angryblackbitch.blogspot.com, where you can buy angry Black bitch cups, shirts, pillows, tile coasters, aprons, mouse pads, teddy bears. There are even pseudo malady called Angry Black Woman Syndrome. Telepod talk shows that become popular in the 1990s. Jerry Springer Show, Jenny Jones Show, The Maury Povich Show, The Ricky Lake Show helped reinforce racial stereotypes of African Americans, including the stereotypes of Black women as angry, castrating shrews. By the early 2000s, the trash talk show had receded in popularity in part because of the emergence of the so-called reality show. Again, these shows served as a vehicle for African American women to be portrayed as sapphires. Vanessa E. Jones from the Boston Globe wrote The Sapphire. You see elements of Survivor, All-Stars, who indulged in a temperamental bout of finger wagging during an argument in the 2001 Survivor, the Australian Outback. Carl Smith, who rules with an iron tongue on MTV's Real World / Road Rule Challenge, The Inferno, browbeat one female castmate so badly a week ago that she challenged Smith to a fight. Then there was Omarosa. I don't even know how to spell that last name for Omarosa, of The Apprentice, who rode the angry Black woman stereotype to the cover of People and TV Guide magazines, even as she made fellow African American businesswomen wince. Omarosa gained a great deal of national disdain and celebrity as a contestant on The Apprentice, Donald Trump's reality show. Omarosa, who is almost always referred to by the single name Omarosa, was portrayed and intentionally acted as a cross between a Jezebel, a hyper flirt and seductress.
Only 66 pans. Waterproof and can be easily cleaned. Shop now.
Hold on a minute.
And a bitter, aggressive sapphire. Lauren Olive, 2008, a political blogger, theorized on how white people saw Omarosa. At last, among white people, she was interpreted in various ways as conniving, lazy, selfish, ashamed, overly ambitious, uppity, ungrateful, and paranoid. I guess I was always less interested in whether Omarosa was actually any of those things or whether it was simply an effect of the distortion of the editing of reality television. I was more interested in the fact that Omarosa seemed to stand for something bigger in the eyes of many white people. Her contestant accusations of racism directed toward her fellow contestants and the fact that she wore her alienation and distrust of her teammates on her sleeve opened up a whole world of racial speculation and ridicule. I would say debate, but in all of my internet travels, I haven't found much of anyone who wanted to go out on a limb for Omarosa. In fact, that so many white people felt justified in their hatred of Omarosa, a hatred that could be passed of a benign over-investment in a guilty pleasure, a reality television series, is telling. She became a symbol of everything that went wrong in the post-civil rights era. Paranoid reverse racism, the ungrateful and undeserving product of affirmative action, the uppity Black person who puts on airs, the beautiful, hyper-sexualized Black woman who pulls the wool over powerful white men's eyes. Olive next remarks and connection that many others are making on the internet sites, namely that First Lady Michelle Obama is the new Omarosa, a bitter, selfish, uppity, ungrateful, overly ambitious sapphire. One of the derived nicknames for Michelle Obama was Omarosa Obama. I didn't even know that. This is news to me. This demonstrates how sapphire caricatures have broadened from an emasculating hater of black men to a bitter woman who hates anyone who displeases her. Oh, are y'all learning something? I'm learning something. Please don't forget to support the channel and hit those up likes for me. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Right. So what I've done now, as she was talking, I started looking up Serena Williams, because she was known as the Sophia Jezebel angry black woman. So Serena Williams and the top of the angry black woman. Mummies, Jezebel, Sophia's black women in America have long been dogged by negative stereotypes rooted in the history of racism and slavery. In the aftermath of Serena Williams' controversial US opening loss, it is the troop of the angry black woman that once again re-emerges. During the US Open Finals, Williams received a code violation for coaching, a penalty for breaking her racket, and a game penalty for calling the umpire teeth, and later fined $17,000 is £13,000, £100, £13,000. Her reactions to the referee's calls, which the Women's Tennis Association has since declared as sexist, with no different from how many top players react in the heat of championship game. But it was the way she was punished for her anger, and that has sparked further outrage. As it unfolded, I could tell this was not going to turn out well, says the law professor Tanya Jones. I knew it was going to be a train wreck. In addition to being a long-term tennis fan, Professor Jones has studied racial stereotyping and how it plays into the lives of African American women. Black women are not supposed to push back. When they do, they are deemed as demurring, aggressive, threatening, loud. Similar words have been leveled at Serena Williams more than once, as well as former First Lady Michelle Obama, top Democrat Maxine Waters. In the recent years, Williams has been docked before for her behavior on the court. In 2009, she was fined $8,500 for the angry outburst. Though she is far from the only player to face punishment for similar conduct, Professor Jones says some have compared the referee's calls to speeding tickets. Many people speed and sometimes a few are caught. But the anthology, she says, misses the point that African American women are disappointedly pulled aside in case of Williams. In the case of Williams, who was first dangled on the coach violation that happens often, but is rarely called out as the player's fault. Why would a black woman in championship match therefore be called on it? Professor Jones says, adding that an attack on this one's integrity is the only natural to be angry. William is outraged because she knows the context. Okay, so this is the myth, which a lot of people tend to play on, the myth of the angry black woman. The angry black woman troop has its roots in the 19th century America when minstrel shows, which involve comic skits and variety acts mocking African American, becoming popular. Blair Kelly, Associate Professor of History at the North Carolina State University, says black women were often played by overweight white men who painted their faces black and donned fat suits to make them look less than human and unfeminine, ugly. The main way of interacting with the men around them was to scream and fight and come off angry and irritatingly so in response to circumstances around them, she says. In 1930s program, Amos and Andy was one of the first modern media portrayals to cement this stereotype through the character of Mrs. Sophia Stevens. The real problem in their everyday life was not the statutory things that black faced, but the mouth of the black woman, her tone, her irritability, and her anger. Dr. Professor says of the Sophia role. As segregation laws known as the Jim Crow laws saw black Americans assaulted, jailed, killed, popular culture pushed ideas of sassy mammies and Sophias and archetypes depicting black women with an iron fist yelling at everyone, from children to white men. So this is what they're talking about. Basically, that's what they're talking about. Hi, Christine. So let me see what else Fundi says, because as she reads the book, because they said that Michelle Obama did come under it, and also Serena Williams and Amara
finger wagging. We should never think. Here we are. Do you think jellyfish ever get upset that there ain't no peanut butter fish?
Gotta go through the thing, but that's also why people adopt want to be like the angry one. You know, there's a reason. I'm gonna portray to be this person. See, so I said it was done in minstrel shows. See, we can get the screen bigger. Hi, Christine. It was done in minstrel shows, which isn't surprising. I'm not surprised to hear that. It's just that how it got continued. Our passion is always deemed to be anger. Exactly, because even even when you talk very calm as a black woman, that's very unusual for some. Some wants you to bug out, go crazy, go into one, and when they don't get that, then it's like, oh, but you're not like all the others. So so it's the same. The Sophia is deemed as the ratchet black woman. She's mad. She's aggressive. She is that one who. Well, I say the stereotypical. Like I said, some of the mummies that I talk about also shows that it's like a whole minstrel show, really, because there's also a case of not being able to verbalize certain stuff sometimes. I mean, sometimes I have problems doing that, but in some circumstances I can quite verbalize very well. It depends on where I'm at. Sometimes you have to adapt so that you can be acceptable in language, because like you said, your passion comes over as angry. So initially they expect you to be that stereotype. That's what I'm saying. So I can't remember what I put in the title. Why do black women need to be or want to be ratchet? Why be the stereotype? Actually, it's not even my opinion at this point, because there's many people that's written about it. The angry black woman. Yeah. Oops. put it on the screen. Keeps freezing. Yeah, exactly. So it's like because some women talk with such passion, they use their hands. Like a long time ago, people like I used to watch well, I mean, there's people in real life, there's people in shows, different world. When you're talking with your hands, when you talk with your hands a lot, like we're quite expressive people, like on a whole. So we talk with our hands, that can be seen as aggressive. When we shout, like some people have quite loud voices, their voices project. Some women's voices project. They be talking and their voices project, you can hear them across the road. Some women talk certain ways and don't and hardly project their voices, but they can make their point in a nice way. Like my auntie's like that. She don't project her voice. She just makes her point in a very elegant way. It's also seen as like you have a level of knowledge of stuff, but even saying that, even when you can verbalize very well, sometimes your knowledge might not be a high level. Like I seen like the lady that I put up yesterday, straight facts expresses herself, but she knows what exactly she's talking about. There's ones like that. There's a few of them that I've been following recently. When they express themselves in such a way. They will throw in a few cuss words, but in between that cuss words, sometimes they make really great points. I'm like, wow, she made very great points. But this time, right, she's saying it in such a way, like it's like, damn, I would never have said it like that, but she's right. So I feel that's where it gets misconstrued of how a black woman is seen. So I feel she's seen as the angry black woman and ratchet. Even your look, like some women can wear like the wig, the pink wigs or whatever. Now when you talk to them, it's like a whole different you're like, wow, am I talking to the same person? Am I talking to the same person? They know so much stuff. Sometimes it's just the outward look, but sometimes is unapologetic. So when they're saying that Serena did what she did, it's right. Even though she might have been in the right, they're saying, oh yeah, right. She was the angry black woman, and she probably called out something what she saw until when the board said, oh yeah, you're right, when she was right anyway. But to them, okay, right, she came over angry. But let me see. Let me put on Fundi's so the picture that I put up originally, someone found had a problem with it. Maybe it was them, I don't even know, whatever. I took it off because it's ridiculous. Like, the subject matter ain't got nothing to do with you. It's not about you, it's about the subject. It's like every woman, like I say, black woman, not really seen as a victim, because some black women are not victims, They're very strong-minded. They know what they want. They will go out and get it. And some of them is quite assertive in getting what they need to get. Some will verbalize it, centralize it, however they want to put it. But there are others who have to adapt because they got to fit in the work environment. But obviously, when they're around certain people, it's like the people expect them to be that woman, and some women try to break the stereotypes where they are because they know that they are seen as this stereotype. I don't even know whether I'm saying it right, but anyway, that's my thinking right at present. So they are obviously threatened by our passion and demeaning us over emotional. Yeah, exactly, because it's the same with the mummy sector, right? I can use the mummy sector as an example. right? There are some reactors. They talk quite elegant. They make their point, and there are some when they're making their point, it's like, damn, like, what did she just say that? Like, but sometimes, if you don't know the reason why they say what they say, you don't understand them. But I mean, like, some people can say, oh, because like you're in the UK, there is women like this over in the UK. There's women like this over in the UK. Okay, so it's not a difference because, like I said, the UK emulates the Americas in certain ways, fashion wise, look wise, all wise. Some women in, I could say, African countries dress like Americans. When you look at young Black and African on Netflix, they dress like Americans. They are very much driven women. You can see that they're driven women. Um, they know what they want, they know where they're going, they know what they're about, even though there are moments when they do cuss, get on, make up noise, whatever. But sometimes, but sometimes when you're angry, right, you will just say whatever you speak your mind. Sometimes it doesn't come over quite elegant. It doesn't mean to say that you are an angry Black woman. You're just defending yourself, you're defending who you are. So um you know, so at the end of the day, yes, some forms ratchetness is shown in other ways where like the sons are influenced because they see their mom twerking, they start twerking. That's a bit that's one of the that's known as being ratchet. Like, you know what I mean? Because your son see you dressed a certain way, he dresses a certain way. Was confused, like he's emasculated as well because he's with a certain type of mother because the father's not there, the father's absent. So the woman therefore have to stand up now and play the man and the woman, or she just be herself. Sometimes it doesn't come over too good, and then the children, because she's the first teacher, obviously, the children start emulating the mother. If the mother's got all her rest out, the daughters start doing the same thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying to discredit all Black women because this is like, it's one of those ones, like it's one of those ones. Like in society, it is seen, you are seen, it's like a hate for you. It's like a hate. Even when I'm walking down the road, they think that how right you're the prostitute, you're after their husbands or some craziness. You're thinking, why this time you're just walking, minding your own minding your own business. You're not doing nothing. I should even cover the stereotypes on the whole because there is a huge stereotype, and this is also carried through social media. The social media, IG is the biggest one. Being that, I don't know about all the other social medias. Maybe I need to research the other social medias. They are ghetto women with ghetto mentality. Yes, there is a lot of those ones too. There's a lot of those ones too. But they're also those ones who achieve a lot of stuff. And you cannot say that how they haven't achieved it. Sometimes the way how they are gets them to A to B to C and all that. Like sometimes nice don't always work. When you're too nice, sometimes it doesn't always work in your favor. Some women has to get by and get into workplaces aggressively. However, when they get there, they are seen as the hot and top woman sometimes. Like even though now most of the things are accepted in society, my ears ringing, mostly in society. So even though like Misha Obama, I can't even remember seeing a Misha Obama angry. I've never seen her angry. I've seen her talk up and say some stuff, even though some people say she's not a woman. But then she talks up for she be in certain places, but then again that's even questionable. So I don't know. I'm gonna play Fundi's thing further.
serpentine. A consternation that Michelle suggested an old racist sentiment that you can take the girl out of the ghetto, but you can never take the ghetto out of the girl. Sean Hemingway, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, Lauren Ingram, and other conservative talk show hosts rush to paint her as the ultimate angry Black woman. And they wondered aloud what she had to be angry about. Not all the lamenting came from white America. Mitchell Massey, chairman of the National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives, Project 21, a conservative Black think tank, said, oh, y'all heard that. Y'all heard that. I hope y'all heard that. I hope you registered that. Is Navi in the room? Type this in for me. National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives.
Add cognac.
Ready to switch to Vodafone?
National Leadership Network of Black Conservatives. This is a conservative Black think tank. Wow. Okay, a conservative able its citizens. It is exactly what Michelle Obama said with one sentence. She attacked every American, regardless of party affiliation, when she uttered those profane words. Many Americans contributed to the Obama's extravagant lifestyle, from those who clean their floors to those who sweep their sidewalks. Her comments reveal ingratitude and were an insult to millions of hardworking Americans and legal immigrants who appreciate the freedom and opportunity America offers. This country has made it possible for Michelle Obama to enjoy every privilege she and her family enjoys. Compared to the eloquent grace of Jackie Kennedy, Nancy Reagan, Barbara Bush, and yes, even Rosalind Carter, she portrays herself as just another angry Black hedron who spits in the face of the nation that made her rich, famous, and prestigious. Central to these critiques, Michelle Obama is the coached engorgement that the people who are successful attorneys and administrators living in a nice house has forfeited the right to talk about injustice and iniquity. This argument is short-sighted and flawed. It implies that only poor people have the right to express concern about poverty. Only the sick and diseased have the right to complain about the inadequacies of healthcare. Only the victim of crimes has the right to complain about high crime rates, and so forth. The day that the privileged in this country, and that includes Sean Hemingway, Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, Lauren Ingram, Mitchell Massey, and Michelle Obama, are as disguised as injustice and equality as in the poor blacks and browns and whites and single mothers in Detroit, Michigan, is the day this country takes the living step toward realizing its potential as the city at the top of the hill. Critiquing America is not the same as hating America. How does her saying, for the first time in my adult life, I'm proud of my country, become, it feels like hope is finally making a comeback, validate Moss's claim that Michelle Obama is another black hatred? A hatred is a scolding, even vicious old woman. Calling someone a hatred and expressing an opinion is an homonym agreement that tries to dismay the substance of their opinion. Members of society who express unpopular opinions are often dismissed with personal attacks. Conclusion. Newt Gingrich and the Republican Party rode the anger of white men into political dominance in 1994. What were they angry about? Affirmative action? Multiculturalism? Liberalism? Few people, especially the members of the dominant group, questioned whether white men had the right to be angry. After Senator Hillary Clinton lost her bid for the 2008 Democratic presidential nomination, a great deal of media attention was given to angry white women.
Expedia. All of your tricks, all in one place. Easy custom.
So angry, they threatened to vote for the Republican candidate. Some of their anger was fueled by disappointment that happened in every political campaign. Others were angry because Senator Clinton's campaign symbolized for them the struggle and promise of being a woman in this culture. Some were angry about the sexist slurs, both thinly veiled and obvious and gross, that were directed against Senator Clinton. These angry white women had many reasons to be angry, but the point here is that their right to be angry was rarely questioned. However, when a strong-minded, high-profile black woman expresses even a hint of displeasure at injustice in this culture, she is treated like a non-patriotic, ungrateful sapphire. The black woman who expresses anything short of patriotism that borders on criticism is condemned. With people of color, in this case, black women, there's a tendency for labels to become enduring stereotypes. The sapphire portrayal has been around for as long as black women have dared to critique their lives and treatment. Sojourner Truth was seen and treated as a sapphire, as were Ida Bell Wells Barnett, Fannie Lou Hammond, Ella Baker, Shirley Chisholm, Anita Hill, Alice Walker, Rita Dove, the Bell Hooks. But the sapphire label has not been restricted to abolitionists, anti-lynching crusaders, and civil rights activists, politicians, and black feminists / womanists. Black women executives who voice disapproval at company policies run the risk of being seen as sapphires, especially when the policies involve race and race relations. Young African American women who show displeasure at being treated as potential thieves when they shop are treated as sapphires. The Black women who expresses bitterness and rage about her mistreatment in intimate relations is often seen as a sapphire. Indeed, Black women who express any dissatisfaction and displeasure, especially if they express the discontentment with passion, are seen and treated as sapphires. The sapphire name is a slur, insult, and label disguised to silence discontent and critique.
Okay, so I'm going to also read this article to come along with what Fundi's saying. As a Black woman, I am so familiar with the racial trope of the angry Black woman. The manez, I can never say that word. I am affronted with on a daily basis is evergreen. I let you in on private truth. We are angry, but have you ever paused to ask yourself why? Workplace inequalities, like unequal pay, this partly in promotions, instances of sexual harassment and racism are often experienced by women. And you guessed it, more so for women from historical excluding groups. The fact remains that heteronormative white males are still the most common authority arbiters, the beneficiaries of workplace norms, and should we dare attempt to dispute these norms by bringing these inequalities, I can't even read, to the forefront, we are often dismissed too emotional, labeled as angry, subjected to workplace discrimination. As we continue to emerge from, the C19, women have been flocking to social media to share stories of unimaginable cost of childcare, understandable as the cost of raising a child sits at 310,605. Among these voices is Rashim Sajani, founder of the non-profitable organization Moms First, which brings awareness to the issues that impact women inside and outside the workplace. So this one is not really covering what I'm talking about. It's not really covering it. But I know it's under something of feminism words, because I remember when I used to talk to a few people and used to bring up the word feminism a lot, and I'll be thinking, but I don't hate Black men. You know what I mean? I don't hate Black men. And another thing I want to say as well. There are some even men think that how you that if you don't give them the ratchet vibes or whatever they think is a true Black woman per se, where like you're barking back at him, he's barking at you. Some men expect you to be like like that as well. So it's just even the images. Even the images to how she's seen as well. Like nowadays, because even now, it's turned on its head. Whereas, like, let me think. Where she is the one when the man's not around, she has to stand up and fight for herself. She has to be able to articulate herself as well. So, like, your I don't even know how to put. I might even put it wrong. I don't even know into words because especially when you're seen as a Sophia, a Jezebel. Now, there's quite a lot of that on social media, particularly. There is quite a lot of that on social media. Even the one I spoke about yesterday, that particular mummy, where I'm sure there is. She's got a universal platform because videos travel all over the place. Now they see her, and she gives that stereotype. Like, you're just like, wow. She believes all women lives like how she lives. They're mad at the world, for whatever reason. They have a chip on. Oh, you have a chip on your shoulder. Maybe some do have a chip on their shoulder, maybe. But then it's like she's mad for silly. Well, that lady was mad for the wrong reason. She definitely comes off as a ratchet stereotype. Nika comes over as a ratchet stereotype. How she carries herself, how she looks in certain ways. There's no improvement. There's no standing on a step up from where you're living. Like most people, which I find strange. I don't know how it is in America. People in UK, I'll use the black women in UK because I don't know. There were some American women that had problems with whatever black women, but that's because they was attacked by women from the UK. So there's no balance. The same thing you all are going through to a certain extent. It's the same thing that goes on over here. It's the same thing. We get the same problems you get. There's no difference. The only difference is maybe how you're living, maybe how the country is run, and even that is even questionable. So, like, when she tries to come out of that stereotype, she tries to work, she tries to make a step up, she tries to make life for herself. Now, they believe the stereotype is a woman with 10 children, which some actually do come up to that stereotype. They don't understand the circumstances in which these children are born. Maybe there's some women who do have the baby daddy problem, so-called baby daddy, fathers of their children. That's what I say. And they're not kids, because kids are goats. Right? Now, the women that I talk about particularly shows that. Now, there is there's a reactor. She's out of that stereotypical thing. She's a black woman who owns her house. I think there's two of them, quite a few of them owns their house. They owns their house. She was gardening on the front of her house. She lives in quite a suburbia kind of situation. So you see her watering her plants. Her name's Flo, by the way. Flo, right, you know who I'm talking about, right? Now she's talking about, I'm trying to raise a business, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. Right, I'm sure when she's in the workplace, she's totally different, in a different environment. She doesn't come over as the so-called Sophia, the so-called whatever they call the ratchet lady. Obviously, when you're home, right, you can be whoever you want to be at the end of the day, right? But most women who you think who will not in a million days think come out of that stereotype, their own homes, they're married, they've been with their man for a long time. Maybe if they do wear pink hair, it's like for parties or something. They people tend to think like, yeah, like she hardly wears any clothes, or she's like this way, that way. But like, there is some women who can articulate. They may look that way, but they can articulate. They articulate in such a way, they run rings around people. So they come out of the ratchet stereotype. They're not seen as that because they're doing that what is not the norm as a stereotypical black woman. Yes, there is some women who live on the welfare line and stuff like that, but even they don't even look like they're on that. You know what I mean? They don't look like they're on it. They tend to want to do more for themselves. Some of them, not all of them. They don't really want to be the stereotypical. Some women say, yeah, I stopped at one child, and then they move and they go and do what they do. They strive for better. I don't even know. It's like you can't get angry. Like sometimes, like why shouldn't I be angry? I'm allowed to be angry sometimes. Some women do so much things. They have the whole world on their shoulder, and then you catch them at a wrong time. And I think this goes for all women in general, not just the black women, but black women, obviously, because like she expresses herself a little more different. She verbalizes differently. She verbalizes, her voice raises. Sometimes, right, she has to stand up for her own self. Like she'll be somewhere by herself. She gets attacked, or something be said to her. She's the only one saying something because nobody else, no man is stepping forward and saying, here, what, right? You can't talk to her like that. So she, in turn, has to stand up and she has to speak up for herself, right? And it's like, yeah, she's angry. Where? Now, over here on the other hand, I have seen this happen in front of I've seen this. Like, I've seen a Rasta woman tell off some women who's not of color, obviously, and then they turned around and they talked about her hair. They made fun of this and made fun of that. Now, looking back down the line, 2003, they're the same people who's probably dancing to reggae music, trying to talk patois, and they think that patois is like they switch it on and off. Like, well, I mean, some maybe might be born in certain countries and whatever, but it's like they take on the whole emphasis of that black woman. But you can't be a black woman because you don't live in her skin day to day. You don't know what she's doing. You don't know what she is. These women on YouTube is not the women. It's not how most black women live. I know it for a fact. Right? Christine, Miss Wise, Trips, Finiqua. I'm gonna throw Flo in there. Simply Anna, Queen Blah, Queen Grandma. They don't live like that. They don't live like how this woman projects, or these women project themselves on YouTube. YouTube is actually a hive of it's a place where like anybody basically can own a YouTube and say they're running a family channel, then project a certain way. Oh yeah, there's Fundi Fee. She definitely ain't the stereotypical woman, black woman. She runs a whole business. She does Tai Chi. She's written books. She's done a whole heap of things. I'm trying to think of another one. Amma, right? So, even I at one time I was self-employed at one time, and like people say, yeah, but you talk about your past because that was part of my past. I was self-employed. I literally was doing it. I was out there grafting proper, like for my children. Like, so it's like as Christine will say, black women are under a proverbial microscope. Even our own judge us based on Western perceptions. Yeah, they do. They do. Even like how you look. They all want you to dress a certain way. Oh man, this, that, and the other. Like one, I had to tell one man the other day, I'm too old to be Like, you know, I just feel like when you reach a certain age, sometimes you just got to sit down and be quiet. So, like, not to sit down and be quiet, but sometimes, right, you have to think a bit more better, a bit different sometimes. Like, I mean, like, you could be going through the worstest stuff in life, and yes, like, it gets you down. Sometimes you get so mad you want to scream to the world because you're just in a cycle. You just want to step out of that cycle. You're just like, people don't understand this, and they call this like you're mad, you're angry, you're, oh, she's angry. Da, da, da. No, it's not because of that. Sometimes, right, you don't want to be in the same position you was how many years back. You rather be doing something else. Some women really regret not doing a lot of stuff, and they take it out, they project it. I think, yeah, social media is a hive of that. And even though I talk about my judge, that she is one of the ratchet ones who is out there. Nika, one of the ones who's out there. I can't think of someone else. Lillian Brown, and she's and she's and she, and even she, how she projects herself. It's like, that's why I said, if I turn the camera on yourself, right, we see who you are, the ratchetness in you. Like, you play the ratchet card so well, but not all black women are ratchet. At the end of the day, we're not all ratchet. We're not all ratchet and whatever. Some of us, like even me, I was gonna try and read a dictionary or something. Like Malcolm X always said that how, like, in prison he read a word a day from a dictionary. I was thinking, bro, I'm gonna have to get one of them Websters. I'm gonna have to actually listen to that at one point and try and read the Websters. The other day I did a crosswords. I literally sat down, I listened to a podcast. I think I took off YouTube for a day, or I can't remember, a couple of days. I listened to podcast. I was even able to find the words in the crosswords. It's so stimulating. Even when you have stimulating conversations with somebody, that even helps. Even if you agree to disagree. Some women don't want to be in that stereotype. We don't want to be in that stereotype. We can have many children, however much. Some of them don't want to be in that. Even when you watch, I mean, like I said, even in real life, I've met ones who's running proper businesses. Uncle Wellbeing Centre, that lady, Ivy, she runs a whole business, right? And there's a few of them. There's a few over here who runs businesses. They run retreats. They do a lot of stuff. Sometimes you get inspired by watching another person doing what they're doing. So these women who project these sort of ideals, is projecting what is put out there or what people think of you sometimes. Like, you know, even my Jazzy Life, you can't have a conversation with her. She doesn't know how to have a conversation. She doesn't know how to put over her words. She don't talk to people. Like, she thinks what she sees on YouTube is who people are. What she sees on IG, that is people. No, when you step out of the IG world, the YouTube world sometimes, and you go and you meet actual people. There are some people who don't live like that. There's actually people married for 10, 15 years. There's one lady that I know, she's young. She was married, she's been with her man a very long time, right? She's got her house. Her house is really nice and stuff like that. She, like, it's just like, you don't need to live like that. You don't need to be the so-called stereotype. Be angry. What are you angry for? That means that you obviously need therapy or something's wrong with you. And even if you do come over on these apps a certain way, but you know, I'm just going on anyway. I'm just making an opinion. Even if you're going on these apps a certain way, you have to be mindful that there are other people that's tapping into your video. There's other people tapping into the video. It's not necessarily black people tapping into the video, because like you can't control who's gonna watch your video. So let's hear what Fundi said.
Who? Oh, that was a lot said. So, what I'm going to do is open up the panel.
Oh, she's finished reading it. Okay, so I don't know, I think I did see a video on it too. Or maybe I didn't see it. Or did I?
Supply stores and get a whole wushu butt kicking. He be doing tiger crane. They be doing. That's all you good for. So they want to get you in the bed. You advertising that. You advertising that. Look what I can do. And then you jump up and twerk. You worse than Stewart on Mad TV. Look what I can do. And then you just jump up and twerk. You just twerk. The hyena mating dance of the century. You can't help yourself. You hear a twerk beat, a trap beat, there you go. Like Pavlov's dogs. You dogs. You female dogs. I said what I said. And every black woman gotta carry that. I'm tired of carrying your L's for you. I'm tired of carrying your L for you. You got to carry your own personal L. I'm not carrying your L no more. Just because I happen to be a melanated woman. I'm not carrying your L's no more. You don't represent me. And you don't represent my sisters. Real women who know how to act. High value women don't have a social media track record like this. They don't. They just don't. They'll die before they have one. I can go and try to get hired anywhere. And I bet you when they look at my social media, they're not going to be like, oh my God, I'm verklempt. Oh, look at this chick. Oh, we are not hiring her. Oh, she cannot represent my company. Oh, did you see that video? And that post she made. Oh, no. Miss Crimson, we're sorry for any inconvenience, ma'am, but, our positions have been filled, and we will not be needing your services for this business anymore. We would like to do not reply to this email. This is an automated email. You do not need to reply to this email. We don't need to send nothing else. The HR department's closed for coronavirus. So, please do not contact us again, and you have a good rest of your day, your life. Please, ma'am. And you wonder why don't nobody like you. They don't take you seriously, and you're the concubine of the world. I don't believe it. Really? Very important. Father Time said, we as Black men see this by our Black women all day, every day. The little baby brother is the saddest moment for me. His mama got him out there all mentally and emotionally abused. He dancing around the whole thing, dancing around, don't know. He don't know. He don't know this is ratchet. Then you had the staff. So this is a regular occurrence in that place. That's the only conclusion I can draw. That this is a normal occurrence in this restaurant, that the staff and nobody was caught off guard with that.
I think she's talking about the women that they go to the restaurant and they started twerking, and the manager told them to stop doing it, or he threw them out, and I think that's what she's talking about, and that's why she's talking about the ratchetness, what happened there, and he's talking about that there was a boy that was there, and maybe he was twerking along with the women.
So y'all go and do this all the time. You like being low class and low value. You revel in being ratchet. You know, when that word first came out, ratchet, was she ratchet? You know, that was a negative term, right? That was not a term of endearment. That is not positive. That is not anything that any woman worth her salt would want to be called and want to be referred as. Ratchet. Used to do anything to not be. I'm not ratchet. And now you defend that behavior. You defend it. He shouldn't have been playing that music. They was just having a good time. I don't care about none of that. You can't find no better way to have a good time than to lower your value as a woman and to lower the value of all the women that look like you. No regard for yourself, so I know you don't got no regard for me. Because you don't even care how you look in public. You know it wasn't no real old video because somebody had a mask on. So this is recent. So it wasn't like this was a video from last year and somebody just posted. No. This is recent. And all the best you could do was get somewhere public and shake your butt like you don't have any sense. Because all that I can come to is you don't got no sense. You don't have any sense. You don't have no sense. So music come on and there you go. Like an automaton or something. That's how you know it's programming. But I'm not even going to lay that at the feet. You are grown women. Every woman in that video I just showed you was an adult. Able to make your own decisions. Let you tell it. You do what you want to do. Let you tell it. You're strong and you're independent. And can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody tell you nothing about how you act, what your value is and what it's not. And you will have the audacity to come tell somebody, I'm an 8. 8 what? You 8 what? 800 pounds? You ate all the food? You ate $100,000 in the hole? You ate what? this is just how that restaurant get down. See, okay, so that goes to show what I was saying. They just used to that type of behavior in that restaurant. If you could call it that place. Can't nobody tell you that I'm an 8. Mm-hmm. I don't want no man that's not 6 figures. Because, you know, I got a degree. Shame all the women that's got degrees that don't involve themselves in that type of behavior. And you just keep doing it. This is why my channel exists. Because as a woman that does not engage in ratchet behavior, I'm not nowhere twerking and dancing and being inappropriate. You will never catch a video of me being sexually explicit or whatever. We can't allow you, hyenas, to speak for us. We can't do it. I won't allow it. Me, the Crimson Cure, December the 5th of 2020, I said it. I'm not allowing it. You're not allowing it. No más. No más. We're not letting you be in the front lines without being challenged anymore. Time out for your dysfunctional behavior. We're not doing that anymore. You've run amok enough. Time out. Now you're going to try to shame somebody for telling you to have better values? So this man that don't even know y'all wants y'all to have a better self-esteem than you want for yourself. You don't even want better for yourself. You don't even want to appear better. You don't even want to be better. You don't want to do none of it. You just want to be able to do what you want to do. And nobody say nothing. Just nobody say nothing. Just let you do it. Just let you twerk, let you do. Now, if one of you big-boned females break something, then you'll want to sue. I cut my leg. And they ain't even do nothing about it. I cut my leg. Where was your leg, ma'am? Propped up on the back of the booth. But I'm saying, no, it shouldn't have broke no glass, though. I will definitely get to the cash apps. This is what y'all do. Do you enjoy being ratchet? Yes. Yes, you do. It's the only conclusion I can come to.
Well, some women went to Ghana, I think it was a couple days ago, on IG. I think I saw this. They were on the slave dungeons, and they're at the top. I think it was where the cannon is, where the cannon part is, and they were twerking. There's some women twerking there, and people was very upset, was mad with them, because the fact that you traveled all the way there, you went on top of the slave dungeons, and you twerked there, where people died, whatever happened to them, whatever. And to be honest, when I saw it, I was like, what the hell? My first thinking was, what are these women doing? Like, what are you doing with yourself? Like, you know, get it. I get it. I get it. You want to enjoy your life and whatever. But you went all the way to Ghana. You went on to the gates of no return. Literally, you was near there, the gates of no return, where people do Sankofa. They go there to reconnect with themselves. They go there to go to wherever their roots are, whatever, whether people is in concur with slavery, did exist, not exist, whatever. Right? And there's you twerking on top of the gate of no return, the slavery dungeons itself. It was so shocking. Like, I thought, wow. Now, hundreds of people travel there for festivals and all sorts of stuff. Like, they go there for initiations, all sorts of stuff. So there's you now go there disrespectful. To me, that's disrespectful. Okay, and I'm not Ghanaian at all. I'm not Ghanaian, but the irony is, when you don't know yourself sometimes, and some women know themselves. They know themselves, right. So you and a bunch of late girls go there. Now, there was clubs that you could have gone if you want to twerk so bad. There's clubs in Ghana. You could have gone to the clubs. But you chose to go to the dungeon to do it. To say what? Where people were raped, where people was killed, force fed, teeth knocked out their head, in the darkness, thrown food. Some died there. Before, I remember when people used to make journeys there, and they used to talk about the smell of the blood in the building, on the building itself. Now, right there, that is ratchet behavior. Now, this lady's only talking about a restaurant one. There is many times you turn on social media and you see, this is women empowerment. You can be empowered. Women carry such powerful vibes already, right? Like I said, some women's been through the worst. Some women seen certain stuff. Even the other day, me and another person was talking, and I saw a story of somebody that I talk about, and then we saw her mum. And I said, no wonder, because the way how her mum come in, no, she showed a video of her mum twerking. Her mum she was dressed like Harley, like straps, kind of looking trousers. I'm not saying be proud of your, right. Women are sexual beings by nature anyway, right? Right, naturally we're sexual beings. Sometimes, right, you can have on 10 tons of clothes on you. You guarantee you'll get some man would approach you and say something to you in some formal fashion. You can be doing probably nothing, not thinking nothing. Sometimes you don't have to have everything out there sometimes, right? So a woman could be wearing a tracksuit bottom, and I guarantee a tracksuit suit. She's not even dressed, and I guarantee someone would approach her, right? So when me and one of the subbies saw this video, we said, wow, that's where she got it from. Like, the person's mother was dressed with a blonde wig and whatever. Fair enough, she might be Jamaican, like I'll say the dancehall queen. When the dancehall queen dressed up when she went to the dance, if you know about the dancehall queens of Jamaica, and then her mum came into this nice restaurant. It's a pretty. Let me see this restaurant, nice, She turned up in a glittery hat, some strappy trousers, like when the trousers strappy, with a kind of a strappy top thing at the bottom, strappy hit on the sides. I said, why goodness, they was in a place Lobster probably cost how much money? And then the lady said, "Oh, that's my mum." I said, "God damn." So then I came to a conclusion. That's where it all started from, the root, the mother. So because, like I said, some women go through certain stuff, either they've been abused, whatever. We don't know the circumstances, but when you see the mother, then you see the daughter, because you're wondering why. Because I was thinking, why is she going on like that, pouting and all this stuff, and shaking her, whining in the videos and the live, and you're just like, what the hell, right? Even to one time, I think she was twerking, because there's a lot of that, even in the cult that I talk about, carbonation. They had levels of ratchetness within the cult too, where like you have them shaking themselves, twerking, seen as spirit, like that is spirituality, that is consciousness. I said, which conscious woman you see twerking? Like normally a woman will come from a stripper to consciousness. It happens, right? The woman would totally evolve, because I've seen this myself. I'll tell you. When I said I've seen things before, I've seen it. But then you're there twerking on IG saying, yeah, I'm a shun, or I'm this and that. Spirituality is also shown in a ratchet and ghetto way. Because you are a melanated woman, you know what I mean, to say that how you have to behave in those ways, like, I mean, and I'm not punishing nobody, right? It's just the main factor. You hear what the lady says, when you're doing certain things, you're bringing the whole in, like, because remember, everybody's looking at the whole melanated people, looking at everybody. They're looking at all, they're looking at all, looking at all of us at the end of the day. Okay, because I put myself in that box too. They're looking at all of us, not just looking at you, because you're representing me, right? Representing us. You could be anywhere, even when you're in Italy. When they see you, and you're there, it's like, wow, a black woman, or whatever, a melanated woman, or whatever. I don't even call them Aboriginal women or whatever. So when you're there, you're representing. When you're on YouTube, you're representing the whole community. You could be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, right? Anywhere in the world. Even saying that, right? There is some who know themselves. They know themselves so well. Like I said, when they articulate it, they can sound rough as hell, but they can articulate it. They articulate, the intellectual levels and stuff like that. But I don't know. I could sound like I'm preaching. I'm not preaching. I'm just saying, like, you see, like, you're seen as a sapphire woman. And I'm gonna keep saying that word. You're seen as a sapphire woman, an angry black woman. Yeah, angry black woman. You can be the calmest one. The stereotype will just stick on you, and you're not even doing nothing by this time. You are just trying to get to A to B you're trying to get to A to B, literally. You're trying to get to the next level, like you want to buy the house, you want to travel, you want to do so much things. Some people don't even come out of their space. Some people never leave their space. Some people leave their spaces and they go to other places, not because like you're black, don't mean to say that how you have to sit in one space. Even like you don't have to be, like even black men, like, boy, I mean, even with black men, I would love to get a black melanated man up here to articulate the thing with the sagging of the trousers, the gangsterisms and schisms, and this approval thing. I don't know. Maybe it's an approval thing. I don't know. But I don't know, us, I don't want to say we. When you say we and the people take things to heart when you say certain stuff. So I'm trying to choose my words very, very, very thing. Because I think Fundi Fees already spoke, Crimson Cure already spoke, and she said, like, I don't want to be represented like that. I don't want to be seen like that. When I touch down anywhere in the world, and you're expecting me to twerk, you're expecting me to talk like. Some of us are not like that. Okay, we don't roll like that. We don't roll like that, right? And it's like it's a reflection of the community. The community is reflected in such a way. Like even over here at one time, I could say Britain, for instance, is a good example. There you go. Let's give a British example because I know sometimes the Americans say, "Oh, you need to talk about who you are." Some of them, not all of them. Now, in Britain, when they first stepped out, when they first came over here, right, which is a Windrush time, right, they was also known as thieves and known as prostitutes and known as this and known as that and all that. Now, they used to they used to put down black women a lot over here. A black woman will be working in the office and they will treat her like a maid, and she had to work her way up. Every time she tried to work her way up, they will keep her in that same post to even she get fed up. She leave because she wants to work her way up. She wants to be where the manager is at this point. So she gets caught left in the same position. Now, there's even been cases of the spices, even the spices of the food. There was problems with, oh yeah, we don't eat spicy food. England was known for this, right? England was known for this. Now, oh yeah, in the 90s, oh my gosh, don't get me started on the 90s over here. There was no rhythm. For one, there was no rhythm. Okay. Now, it's like everybody wants to be like what they hate, and it's the thing. Oh yeah, I want to be what you know. Some people, because me and my son and another person had the saying, what you hate is what you become, right? And that is what's happened over here. And certainly know is that's the same thing in America. When people say the hard R, I just look at them because I just thinking, why are you saying that? You know the levels to which that word derived from. That word was used to keep you at a level like you was inhuman as well. So I'm going to have a talk about that too. You're using the hard R, right? And you think it's okay. You call a person a female dog and you think it's okay. These words was used to degrade you, to keep at a certain level and all sorts of things. When you come out of that understanding of that, right, you will never use their words. Never ever. You'll find another word. You'll find another word to talk about a person without using even if you're so mad and you want to say that word, when you really think that word. Women was degraded centuries ago. Black women particularly was degraded, like I said, for the size of the behind. Sarah Boltman, I think her name was, the one who came from South Africa. They had her on show in England because of how she was shaped, or was it America, how she was shaped. I spoke about this before. Right? She was not accepted because of how she was shaped, how she looked. She was put in museums, she was used and everything else. She was not accepted. Nowadays, fair enough, right? Everybody's saying, yeah, it's this, it's that, or whatever. But then it's like it's like you are taking on somebody else's identity to be that. Now, some, like I said, some melanated women do not even want to be known as ratchet at all in their life. They don't want to be known that. Some of them want to come out of that stereotypical thinking. Now, even when I go Fundi Fee, they start talking. I'm like, wow, they come up with some words even I've never heard of sometimes. Because sometimes you want to come out of So you want to come out of even words that you use, what you verbalize. You just want to change that up, especially if you come from certain schools of thinking. You don't want to keep that same thing up. That's why even when I talk about my Jessica, I never call out her name. Nope, I never do, because it's like you're slapping your own self, because and every woman is a reflection of another woman, and people don't understand that. Now, when they talk about feminism and all that stuff, now that is miss me with that. I'm not about the feminism because I know what it's linked to. Okay, so I'm not even gonna say, oh, this, that, right? But on most of the front lines, most of the front lines of the Black nationalists, i.e., Marcus Garvey's wife was one of the ones who helped him front to become the person who he is. Even though Marcus Garvey didn't complete his mission, he didn't complete it at all. But everyone talks about Amy Garvey. They talk about her and they talk about the other wife and her, what the stuff she did. They talk about Thingy Walker, I forgot her name. The millionairess who bought her way out of, she set up whole businesses and she did a lot. People have to admit it first, and it's half beat. Ocean, if it's the truth and in love, it can't be wrong. OMG, I hate the saggy bottom look. Yes, so tell me about it. Let's be real. You ladies and a few good men that are left have to see the depictions and the whole the real enemy is. Have you read the Jesus oath? They have an oath to bash our babies. No, we're not talking about that right now, Phil. We're talking about something else. The ratchetness of a black woman is what is acceptable on all levels. Now, unless unless you have an understanding of yourself very well and you know certain, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm more smart, more greater than the ones who come and verbalize a certain way. No, I'm not. It's just that sometimes, like, when you're on, when other people's looking at you and they're hearing us talk on these platforms, because I don't own YouTube, Google owns it, and they see you a certain way, the same way how you show yourself on here. That's how people deal with you, I guess. But like I said, like the IE, my Jazzy Life, the Nika, I don't even know half of the mums. I don't think I've named half of them. And they believe that how this is how most melanated women stay. And none, we don't, it's not, I'm not speaking for all, but me personally, I don't stay like that. So, like I said, I was even trying to even do a time where I just read a dictionary for one day, put down the phone, the device, whatever, because one of my daughters suggested it. I did the crossword that she suggested, and it was good because, like, stretching your brain, you're doing so much more. Then you start looking like you want to do better for yourself. You want to do so much better for yourself. Like, oh yeah, and there's natural love, even even as a melanated woman, she's putting out, she's reacting to different people from different nations and stuff like that. I would not say she is the stereotypical melanated woman at all. She doesn't even come over like that, right? And it's like people get it also wrong. People who not from the community gets it also wrong. They get also mixed up because they're expecting you to shout and to be honest, on here, yeah, I've shouted and got on bad a few times, but like certain times when you really look back and you think about certain stuff, you just say, oh my god, like what do I sound like? Like even sometimes when I talk and I hear myself and I said, hold up, I don't talk like that. No, like in real life. I probably never talk like a certain way in real life. So I will take myself back and I just talk normally, like how I will talk when I'm just around people who I talk with on the phone, whatever. There's no need for me to start cussing up and making up a whole heap of noise and doing this and doing that. And there's probably others who don't prepare to reflect that way how we are, how people portray who they think is a melanated person. So at the end of the day, this is why I decided to do this video. Now, as you saw earlier, when I came to do the thing, I had a picture, because that's when you put ratchet in the Google. Hi. When you put ratchet in the Google, when you put up the pictures that come up, which is one of them that I did use, with the 3 black women, one dressed in pink, one dressed in something, and a lady came and she said, "Oh no, because like whatever." I don't know whether she was in the picture or not. It was just an example of how people see melanated women. It was nothing to do. No one's going to talk bad or about, oh, look how she looks. Da, 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 da. That is not the objective of it. So instead, I put up a Lilith, because that's normally how people see, or whatever, a Lilith picture. Maybe that's how people are seen. And it's like, come on, like, it all ties together. Why do you think folks are acting like they do? Respect to you. I hope you can see the big picture. Good job listening to your daughter about that. Yeah, exactly. Listening and doing other things. Like sometimes, right, you need to like do other things than to be the stereotypical so-called angry black women. Angry black women gets you nowhere in life sometimes. Sometimes, right, you need to save that for the war. I always said to people, save your tonsils for when the real war happens, because there will be a time when you have to defend your children and yourself. Fundi Fee has this poster said, instead of waiting for someone to protect her, she had to protect herself. Right? And maybe that's possibly through sometimes you have to give a bit of verbiage, and sometimes you have to do whatever. But then, like, yeah, I don't even think I need to say any more on that. At one point you have to protect yourself, but then when you are showing that you are ratchet and stuff like that, you like remember that how right, you don't have to do much to be seen or heard. Right, you are seen and heard. Like you're seen and heard in the world, right? Wherever a black person is, they are seen all the time. Mercy a threat, whatever, however you want to put it, however you take it, because that's what I see when I'm over here. They hold their bags. They're walking past you. They hold their bags. And they want to touch you. This, that, and the other. I mean, my children say, "Well, mom, it's all in your head." No, it's not all in my head, but even in the workplace, you got to 10 times prove yourself 10 times better. They expect you to be that ratchet person. Because Serena spoke up and she said, no, you was wrong to the thing. They called her an angry black woman. And I'm going around in circles, and I can hear myself going around in circles. So I'm going to stop right now because I can hear myself. Right? That's why I put up that thing. No nation cries no higher than its woman. In Nation of Islam, the women live by that, right? Because the woman is the first teacher, the first of everything. She's the one who teaches the children everything. Then when the children's older, right, and she's older, obviously, the children is like the ones like they teach her as well, right? So it goes in circular motion, right? So when you are doing these things and perpetuating certain stereotypes, your daughters will perpetuate the same thing, i.e. Jazzy's daughter calling herself a local baddie, i.e. she going off on one and then she cusses her daughter out for a good 10 minutes, 10 however. In black households, yes, this goes on, but you don't have to put it on YouTube, okay? Right? You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it because you are just showing, okay, right, this is how they do. Our households is run differently to most households, but it doesn't mean to say that how right. But I know for one, we don't starve out the children. We don't do certain stuff. We don't get on and lie down in the bed and film ourselves in the bed on a YouTube. Like maybe some do, I don't know, but that's what I see. So I just thought I'd use her as an example, as the ratchetness and so forth. If you have, please comment and tell me your opinion on this, because I know there's loads of people with opinion on this Sophia. So what's he called? The Sophia, the angry black woman, the ratchet black woman, even though they say there's no such thing as black women. So the melanated woman, you leave your opinion and you tell me on the bottom of this video what you think. Hopefully I could find a fitting picture without stepping on people's toes, because the woman was, I don't know what was her problem. But anyways, it seems like when I'm talking about certain stuff, I notice it's a bit of a fight. You get a bit of a fight. So that's why I stopped talking about certain stuff, because I used to talk about a lot of stuff at one point. I didn't used to talk about people on YouTube, influencers and stuff, apart from carbonation, apart from healings and stuff like that. When you're talking about certain subjects, people either get offended or whatever. There's no balance. Like I said, right, we all agree to disagree. Like we're not right. I mean, like you have to agree with what I'm saying right now. You can disagree with it. It's fine. I ain't gonna say, oh my goodness. No, you can disagree with it. It's fine, because at the end of the day, right, we all have opinions. Okay, so we all have mouth. We all right. We all have this thing in our mouth called a tongue, which is a sword, which is can be cutting in parts and everything else with it. So this is what I'm going to say about it, right? Before I go off on another tangent. Okay. So thank you for coming through, Christine and Phil. So with that said, I'm going to come off. Yeah, like I said, this subject's a whole different subject, because it can go one or two ways. People say, "Oh my God, she's talking about the black thing and the black thing and the black thing," or this can just be a discussion opener, wherever, about stereotypical ideas of black women and whatever else, and then it's left for you peoples to come to your own conclusions, because I know we all have our own conclusion. We all have our mind. We all think. We all have we all have red blood in our veins, or blue blood in our veins, however. So, yeah, with that said, I think I'll leave it right there, because it's like a whole hour. I'm not going to go on past, well, it's going on 2 hours. But yeah, so with that said, I will see you. Hopefully, I'm going to try and do something with Alexander, because I feel that there's a lot that I can learn from him, and probably Amma again, maybe, and a few others, because some discussion needs to be had, I think. And then not using the Bible, and all that, you know. Yeah. So with that said, I'll go. I'll see you. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.